Sanjesh just hit $10,000. It took her 2 years. 2 years of saying no to things. 2 years of packing lunch. 2 years of watching her friends go on vacations. She scrolled past on Instagram without clicking. And now the number is finally there. 5 figures. Her 5 figures. Here's what nobody tells you about this moment. This right here is the most dangerous financial moment of Sanjesh's life. Not because the money is at risk, because of what the system and her own brain are about to try to get her to do with it. 7 out of 10 Americans who reach a savings milestone spend a significant portion of it within 12 months. And by the time this video ends, Sanjesh will understand exactly why and exactly how to make sure she isn't one of them. Something strange happens the moment your bank balance crosses a threshold your brain considers safe. The brakes come off. For 2 years, every time Sanjesh wanted something, a quiet voice in her head said, "You can't afford it." And that was true, so she didn't buy it. But now, $10,000 is sitting there. And suddenly the voice changes. You've earned this. You deserve it. You've been responsible long enough. Just this once. Psychologists call this phenomenon goal substitution. Once you hit a financial goal, your brain treats the goal as complete. The discipline that built the savings relaxes. And the spending instinct, which has been suppressed, rushes back in. It's not weakness. It's neuroscience. And the entire consumer economy is built to exploit exactly this moment. The average American spends 31% of a financial windfall within 30 days on discretionary purchases. The car dealerships know this. They target people with recently improved credit and rising savings. The travel apps track your deposit notifications. The luxury brands, the ones Sanjesh told herself she'd buy when she had money, they have been waiting. This isn't paranoia. This is a $900 billion industry called targeted advertising, and it runs on the behavioral data of people exactly like Sanjesh. The question isn't whether Sanjesh will feel the pull. She will. Anyone would. The question is whether she understands the pull well enough to choose differently. Let's talk about what $10,000 actually is. Not what it feels like. What it is. Because how Sanjesh deploys this money in the next 30 days will determine more about her financial future than almost any decision she makes in the next. Option 1. Keep it in a checking account. The average US checking account earns 0.01% in interest. Inflation runs at approximately 3%. That means Sanjesh loses roughly $290 in real purchasing power every single year without spending a dollar. She didn't spend it. The system spent it for her. After 10 years of doing nothing with that $10,000, it has the purchasing power of roughly $400. Sitting still is not safe. Sitting still is just losing slowly. Option 2. Use it as a down payment on a car. The $10,000 disappears immediately as a down payment. Sanjesh now owes $28,000 on the remaining balance plus interest at the current average new car loan rate of 7.1% over 60 months. That's an additional $5,300 in interest payments over the life of the loan. And the car she just drove off the lot. It lost 15 to 20% of its value the moment she left the dealership. A $38,000 car is worth $30,000 by Tuesday. Her 2 years of saving just turned into a depreciating asset and a 5-year debt obligation. Option 3. What Sanjesh actually does once she understands. This is where it gets interesting. Because $10,000 deployed correctly doesn't just sit there. It works. Quietly. Without Sanjesh having to think about it. And the difference between option 1, option 2, and option 3 is the difference between Sanjesh at 57 wondering how she's going to retire and Sanjesh at 57 already there. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through exactly what Sanjesh does with that $10,000. Not theory, not inspiration, a specific, step-by-step system that takes one Saturday afternoon to set up and then runs on its own for the rest of her life. Stay with it. This is the part that changes things. Step 1. The floor. $3,000 to $6,000 into a high-yield emergency fund. Before Sanjesh invests $1, before she does anything else, she builds her floor. 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. In a high-yield savings account, untouchable except for a genuine emergency. Now why not invest all of it? Why not put the full $10,000 to work? Because without an emergency fund, every single financial plan collapses the moment life happens. And life happens. The car breaks down. The medical bill arrives. The job disappears. Without a floor, Sanjesh has to sell her investments, often at the worst possible moment, often at a loss just to cover the emergency. The market is down 20%. Doesn't matter. She needs the money. She sells. She locks in the loss. The emergency fund is not a savings account. It is insurance against being forced to make terrible financial decisions at terrible times. 40% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing. The emergency fund is the floor. You build it first, every time, no exceptions. And in 2025 and 2026, a high-yield savings account pays 4 to 5% APY. That means Sanjesh's emergency floor is actually earning money while it protects her. Her $5,000 in a HISA earns approximately $225 in the first year alone, doing nothing except existing. $5,000 of Sanjesh's $10,000. Protected, earning, untouched, remaining $5,000. Now, this is where it gets powerful. Step 2. The Roth IRA. The tax superpower nobody taught you. Sanjesh opens a Roth IRA. If you've never heard of it, pay close attention, because this is one of the most powerful financial tools available to ordinary Americans. And most people either don't know it exists or think it's only for rich people. It is not. Only 35% of Americans under 40 have a Roth IRA. Here's how it works. A Roth IRA is a retirement account funded with after-tax dollars, meaning you put money in that you've already paid income tax on, and then it grows completely tax-free, forever. When Sanjesh withdraws that money at retirement, she pays 0 taxes, not reduced taxes. 0. Think about what that means. A traditional 401k grows tax, deferred meaning you pay taxes when you take the money out. If Sanjesh has $500,000 in a traditional account at retirement and her tax rate is 22%, she walks away with $390,000. In a Roth IRA, she walks away with $500,000. Same money, same market return, $110,000 difference just from which account she used. The 2025 Roth IRA contribution limit is $7,000 per year for anyone under 50. Sanjesh puts $3,000 of her remaining $5,000 into a Roth IRA. She doesn't pick stocks. She doesn't watch chart. She doesn't try to time the market. She buys a single low-cost S&P 500 index fund and leaves it alone. The S&P 500's historical average annual return is approximately 10%. At 10% average annual return, that $3,000 becomes approximately $52,000 in 30 years. Not counting a single additional contribution. Just that $3,000, left alone. Compounding. And here's the number that makes this impossible to ignore. Starting a Roth IRA at 27 versus 37, at $3,000 per year, the 10-year head start is worth over $200,000 at retirement. The Roth IRA does not reward hesitation. Step 3, the index fund. The boring machine that builds wealth, the remaining $2,000. Sanjesh opens a regular taxable brokerage account and buys a total market index fund. Not a single stock, not crypto, not whatever her coworker is excited about. A fund that owns a tiny piece of every major company in the US economy. When the economy grows, Sanjesh grows. When individual companies fail, the fund absorbs it across thousands of others. Here's why this matters more than most people realize. The average actively managed fund, the kind of financial advisor might put you in, charges 0.5 to 1% in annual fees. The average index fund charges 0.03 to 0.1%. That fee difference on a $10,000 investment over 30 years costs approximately $14,000. $14,000 gone in fees on a $10,000 starting investment. And what does the managed fund deliver for that extra cost? On average, worse performance than the index fund it's trying to beat. $10,000 invested in the S&P 500 in 1995 is worth over $190,000 today. Boring, patient. Powerful. Step 4, the automated paycheck system. Set it and forget. Here's the final piece, and the one most people skip. Sanjesh sets up automatic transfers. The day her paycheck lands, before rent, before food, before anything, 2 transfers fire automatically. $200 to her HISA to keep building the emergency fund. $200 to her investment account split between her Roth IRA contribution and her index fund. $400 a month. Automated. Non-negotiable. She never sees it. She never decides whether to do it. It just happens. Americans who automate savings are 3 times more likely to reach their financial goals. 3 times. Not because automated people are smarter. Because automation removes the decision entirely. And when there's no decision, there's no moment of weakness, no bad week, no temptation. The money moves before Sanjesh can spend it. In 12 months, $4,800 more invested. Automatically. The $10,000 moment wasn't the finish line. It was the starting gun. Here's a question worth asking. Does Sanjesh still want a nicer car? Yes. Of course she does. But here's what she understands now that she didn't understand 6 months ago. A $38,000 car doesn't cost $38,000. When you add depreciation, interest on the loan, the increase in insurance premiums, and routine maintenance, the true 5-year cost of a $38,000 car is approximately $52,000. According to the annual cost of driving report, $52,000. For a thing that loses value every single day. Sanjesh doesn't hate the car. She just sees what it actually costs. And she asks herself one question. Is this $67 a month serving my future or someone else's? She keeps her current car for 2 more years. The $67 a month she isn't spending on the new car goes into her Roth IRA and her index fund. $867 per month invested at 10% annual return over 5 years, approximately $67,000. In 5 years, the choice between the car and the investment has a $67,000 answer. Sanjesh can still get the car later, but the compound interest she'd lose by starting 5 years later she can never get back. Sanjesh isn't rich because she made more money. She isn't rich because she was smarter, or luckier, or because she never enjoyed anything. She built wealth because on the day she hit $10,000, she understood what the system was designed to do with that money, and she did something different. Sanjesh at 27, $10,000 saved. Sanjesh at 37, with $400 per month automated investing at 10% annual return, approximately $86,000 in investment accounts, $86,000, from $400 a month automated, for 10 years. That's not theoretical. That's a standard compound interest calculation anyone can run right now. The system wanted Sanjesh to celebrate her $10,000 by spending it. The ads were ready. The dealership was waiting. The vacation packages were queued in her Instagram feed. They were counting on her doing what most people do. She didn't. Here's Sanjesh's system one more time. 1. $3,000 to $6,000 into a high-yield savings account. Emergency fund only. 4 to 5 cent APY. Floor built. 2. Open a Roth IRA. Put the remaining savings into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund inside it. Tax-free growth. Forever. 3. Open a taxable brokerage account for anything beyond the Roth IRA limit. Same index fund. Same patience. 4. Automate everything. Every payday. Before you can spend it. That's it. One Saturday afternoon. A system that runs for the rest of her life. The $10,000 moment is real. The question is whether you let it be the moment you built something, or the moment you almost did. Sanjesh chose the first one. If this changed how you think about your money, subscribe. Because next week, we go deeper into the Roth IRA, the specific funds Sanjesh chose, why she chose them, and the one mistake most people make when they finally open one that quietly costs them thousands. You don't want to miss that one.